feels so important. I have a microphone now. Well, it's just because the video picks up so many noises down here in the basement that I'm trying to not allow that to happen. So we will see how that works out. But today I wanted to make a video about self-talk and why that's so important. So self-talk, right? Why is it important? How do you do it? How do we mess it up without even realizing that we are self-sabotaging? So self-talk is pretty simple. Talk to yourself. I talk to myself all the time. Especially like having bipolar disorder, I constantly am like bombarded with negative thoughts, negative ideas, those self-sabotaging type ideas. And it's really important to flip the script, change those to something positive. So I pretty much am at war with myself every single day of my life because the thoughts that are happening in my brain don't really align with reality. So part of having bipolar is, there's part of yourself that always lies to you, and you have to fight back at that at every chance that you can. So you have this part of you that lies to you all the time, and then it makes you paranoid because you know what reality is. You're pretty sure you know what reality is. But if it's reality, then why is there this part that is so unsure? Why is there this part that's lying to you? So that took me a long time to figure out in my life that that is, part of my mental health issues. And that's bipolar for me. I know that that's pretty common for anxiety as well. I'm sure that type of, internal negative ideas, dialogue, whatever that's happening, I know that is pretty much a part of, any mental health issue, not even just bipolar. So that is why I decided that self-talk was so incredibly important, and it was something that I needed to manage, right? It was really easy for me to sit there and agree with the thoughts, yeah, I do suck, I am worthless, I will never amount to anything. And especially as I get older, and now I have some autoimmune diseases that are, difficult to deal with. My brain is the first one to jump in and be like, yep, time to give up, throw in the towel. And that's definitely not what I want to do. So self-talk, number one, that's the most important thing. You can talk yourself out of your own issues. You could talk yourself out of anything and everything. Honestly, I believe that it just takes the action of doing it. Right? So talking to ourselves so negatively kind of becomes like a habitual practice. And we are our toughest critic. We come down the hardest on ourselves. We are our biggest enemy, and we will be in our own way, 99.9% of the time before it's anything or anyone else. So it's important to work against that, right? So if you're getting negative thoughts, it's important to halt the thought as soon as you can, flip the script, as soon as you can, change it to something positive. A mantra is the number one way I would say that it's kind of just a guarantee that you will be able to flip the script on your negative thinking while also changing the way your brain works, right? Because anytime we have trauma or we're exposed to any type of, thing that makes us feel bad or whatever, that rewires the brain. Okay, so if trauma can rewire the brain, then I absolutely believe that, doing the opposite of trauma and actually putting work into some of these methods can help to, flip the brain back, and rewire it back to a way that is not so self-sabotaging, right? So like addiction, for one, we could talk about talking yourself out of having a cigarette even, right? So they say that cravings only last about 15 to 20 seconds. So in that 15 to 20 seconds, if you're able to talk yourself out of it, explain to yourself why you don't need it, odds are you're going to be more successful, and you have rewired the brain. Instead of going, oh, I want a cigarette, boom, going to get the cigarette, I have the cigarette. Once you start, putting a roadblock there and you force your brain to take a detour and you really question your craving, you question, all the things about, the certain issue, then you're able to cause a detour in your brain. And then eventually, over time, that will become a natural response. Not to say that it won't always be somewhat challenging, it will be, but it's a better response than, running right towards the thing that is hurting you, sabotaging you, killing you, whatever that might be. So a mantra is a super helpful way to start with the self-talk. Now, my mantra for, today and for whatever day it needs to be is, I am stronger than all of my urges. And that's my mantra today so far, because I have decided to, be meatless and pretty much avoid most sugar for the week because I want to see how my body feels in terms of pain. And I feel like I've already fought myself so many times over eating chocolate that it's not even funny, but I know that it's important to just keep talking myself out of it. So, now I'm just talking about talking myself out of having a candy bar and like trying to stay on track with like not eating meat and not eating sugar. But the point is I've used this technique to save my life. Like I was in a bad situation and I was in it like mentally, emotionally, and living in it. And once I realized that I wanted more for my life, I knew that something had to change. And I just started telling myself that I was going to be happy. And I did that for about 2 weeks. And I will honestly say that for the longest time of that 2 weeks, I was the furthest thing from happy. I could promise you I was saying I was going to be happy, but I looked miserable. I was mad. I felt mad, angry, trapped, all of those things. If you've seen any of my videos from Positive Profanity, then you definitely know that it was like a fake it till you make it kind of mindset, right? So I kept telling myself that I was going to be happy. And eventually I believed it. And because I believed it, I wanted more for myself. And that is the goal. That's the goal. So the goal is to rewire the brain to change into a person that you want to be, that is the best version of yourself, right? And it all starts on the inside. And that sucks. And I hate that because I, for so long, wanted to blame all of my shortcomings on other people, other things, situations, whatever. And it took a long time to realize that it was me. Like I was responsible for anything good happening in my life and anything bad happening in my life. And my reaction to it ultimately would add to it because it wasn't a reaction of growth. It was a reaction of shame and embarrassment or whatever the case may be. And I wasn't reacting in a healthy manner. So as I have grown and become humble and have survived, many ordeals in my life, I have found that it's better just to kind of roll with whatever life gives you, and whatever is good in your life right now, whatever is bad in your life right now, it's probably supposed to be that way for a reason, and it's probably there to teach you something. The other part of this also too is if you are having these negative self-sabotaging thoughts, you also need to be mindful of who you are around, because it is very easy for other people's opinions and judgments to become our own. This is something to be mindful about, especially in terms of setting boundaries. If you are in a tough way and, your thoughts are not helping you and people around you aren't helping you, then you have to find a part of you, which it exists inside all of us, but you have to tap into that part that basically tells all the negative things to, F off. Like, I'm trying not to swear in these videos. But it's up to you to respond to all that negativity with positivity, because at the end of the day, you are the only one on your side more than anyone else. So if you're surrounded by negativity, it's going to be very easy for those negative thoughts inside of you to own you. And you need to be your own hero, really. That's what it comes down to. And you need to also remember, too, that another part of self-talk is a lot of times we talk smack on ourselves, right? We call ourselves names, and we're probably doing it sarcastically or being funny or making light of a situation. Maybe it makes us feel better. But one thing I learned is that your body doesn't recognize sarcastic energy. So your body doesn't realize it's a joke, and you're going to take those words on at face value. And that is just going to put your brain in a place that it doesn't need to be, when we should be working on, talking to ourselves with love and respect and kindness, and that is just so important. So to end that note, I would say, since we're all living in a pandemic, I know that everybody is struggling. I have a lot of friends around me that are struggling more than others, and they're taking it pretty hard on themselves. And we have to just remember that, like, this is just where we're at right now, and we will get through this. This is temporary. You know, some mantras, this is temporary. We will get through this, you know. But more importantly, you know, we have to just take it easy on ourselves. You know, we have to. And instead of beating yourself up with, you know, why is this happening to me? You can flip the script and ask, what is this trying to teach me? Because ultimately, in every bad situation, even situations outside of our control, there are lessons to be learned in all of those situations. So yeah, you know, work on the self-talk. That is the number one. Create a mantra. What is your mantra? You know, pick something for the week, pick something for the day, pick something for 2 weeks. It really doesn't matter. Even if you don't believe it at first, you know, your brain will just kind of catch on and run with it. And when that happens, it's such a great feeling, you know. So don't give up, you know, hang in there no matter what's going on right now. Just remember that it's temporary. And I really appreciate, you know, the support and you guys taking the time out just to listen to what I have to say. I have added new products onto the Dante Sky Collaborative website, new lip balms and new soaps as well. And I'm going to be working on something even bigger than that, that is, you know, surrounded around empowerment, empowerment coaching, some type of a master class. I haven't really decided yet, but I know that it's time to get my company in gear into the place that I want it to go. And I know that this is the direction that I want to take it. And I hope you have a great day. Thanks again for all the support. Take care.